Honourable members, I have a short announcement to make. Honourable members, during the course of his intervention on the appropriation bill yesterday, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition handed over a document to the table purporting to be the minutes of proceedings of the first board meeting of the CEB Green Energy Company Limited. After perusing the document, the table took note that the said document is unsigned. It has been ruled in the past by one of my predecessors that a paper or document which is laid on the table must be duly authenticated by the minister or the member laying same. I quote, "The purpose of authentication of a paper or document is to ascertain the genuineness and correctness thereof. Once laid on the table, the paper or document becomes part of the permanent record of the House and hence a public document open to inspection and use by members," unquote. In the light of the above, I therefore rule that this document cannot be laid. However, as per the practice prevailing in the House, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition may, if he so wishes, hand over the said document to the Prime Minister for his information.
Madam Speaker, I'll ask you some clarification on what you said.
I am sorry, please, Leader of Opposition. I just wish to draw the attention of the Honourable Leader of the Opposition to Standing Order 41.4, which provides that the ruling of the Speaker is not subject to debates and is final. But you may wish to come and see me in my office and we'll discuss on the whole matter. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, point of order. I have the record of all the documents tabled with me. There are a number of documents unsigned and undated. Therefore, I would request, humbly, that these documents be removed from the records of the National Assembly.
Yes, Honourable Member, I have just mentioned that there is no debate on the ruling of the Speaker. I have already given my ruling on the matter, and for me, the matter is closed. Yes, Honourable, yes. Please proceed. Please proceed. No, I'm sorry, you can't. I'm sorry. I have already given my ruling. I am sorry. I have already given my ruling. If you wish to have any further discussion on this matter, and I have quoted my predecessors, if you wish to have further discussion on the matter, I invite you to see me in my office. We will discuss. No, look, there's no debate on this. Yes, there is no point of order on a ruling which has been given by the Speaker. I have just quoted Standing Order 41.4. And this is the end of the matter. No, look, I am sorry. I have told you several times. As Deputy Speaker, you should have known. Please proceed. No, papers have been laid. Papers have been laid. Order, please. Order, please. Order.
Cover up government.
Cover up what?
Cover up government.
Etienne, fais conférence de presse souillée.
Order, please. Allow the serious matter to be debated. Allow the Leader of the Opposition to proceed with his PNQ. Please.
This is a cover-up government, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is my question to the Honourable Prime Minister, Minister of Home Affairs, External Communication and National Development Unit, Minister of Finance and Economic Development. with regard to the Commission of Inquiry on Horse Racing in Mauritius, appointed on 24th September 2014. He will state if A, he has requested the commissioners thereof to provide thereto to him a copy of the confidential interim report thereof submitted to the President of the Republic on 28th November 2014, and if so, if he indicate if he has been provided therewith, and actions he proposed to take in relation thereto, if any. Copy of the implementation report thereof, dated June 2016, will be tabled, if that will be tabled, and if recommendations 11 and 18 of the final report thereof have now been implemented.
Madam Speaker, in September 2014, the then government decided to set up a commission of inquiry on horse racing in Mauritius, and in this context, the then President of the Republic appointed Mr. Richard Perry as chairperson of the commission and Messrs. Dennis Gunn and Paul Scotney as commissioners. The commission subsequently effected a fact-finding visit to Mauritius in October 2014 and had formal sittings of the commission in November 2014. I am informed that following the formal evidence gathering during the sessions of the inquiry, the commissioners submitted an interim confidential report to the then President of the Republic of Mauritius on 28th November 2014. With regard to Part A of the question, before writing to the commissioners, as I stated at our sitting of the 16th of May 2017, I wanted to make sure that the interim report is untraceable in my office. Having been satisfied that it is indeed untraceable, arrangements have been made to obtain a copy thereof directly from the commissioners. In regard to Part B of the question, the implementation report dated June 2016 was commissioned by my office and the Gambling Regulatory Authority to see how best to implement the recommendation of the Commission of Inquiry on Horse Racing. I am advised that in view of the sensitive information contained in the report, more particularly in respect to intelligence gathering, it will not be proper to table the implementation report. In regard to Part C of the question, Recommendation 11 of the final report of the Commission of Inquiry on Horse Racing reads as follows, and I quote, "Whilst noting the current limitations of the ICAC's jurisdiction over horse racing betting matters, it strongly supports the proposed amendment to the Prevention of Corruption Act 2002 to allow the ICAC to engage in relevant horse racing betting corruption in the future," unquote. Madam Speaker, offences relating to horse racing and the gambling industry, for instance, cheating, are dealt with under Section 146 of the GRA Act. It is of wide spectrum because any person who commits or who is suspected of having committed an offence can be investigated upon and prosecuted by the police, including the Specialized Division of the Police des Jeux. The proposal of the commissioners in the said recommendation 11 is to bring the power to inquire and prosecute offences relating to a proposed specific corruption offence between private individuals relating to horse racing betting corruption within the ambit of POCA. I am advised that under Section 21D of POCA, the Commission is empowered to investigate any act of corruption. I quote, the functions of the Commission shall be to detect or investigate any act of corruption, unquote. In addition, Section 2 of POCA defines an act of corruption as including an agreement between two or more persons to act or refrain from acting in violation of a person's duties in the private or public sector for profit or gain. However, the corresponding offences in sections 4 to 11 do not encompass situations as contemplated in recommendation 11 of the final report. This loophole identified by the Commission of Inquiry will be addressed by way of an amendment to the POCA. I understand that there is a committee already working on all the amendments relating to POCA. Recommendation 18 of the report states that, I quote, "The new regulatory body should refer all future deliberate doping of a horse, including anabolic steroids, to the police des jeux," unquote. The new regulatory body referred to recommendation 18 relates to the proposed creation of the Mauritius Horse Racing Authority. Madam Speaker, I am informed that the GRA has, after studying this proposal, created a horse racing division and an integrity division under its ambit to address all problems relating to the horse racing, including cheating, illegal betting, and doping of horses. In this regard, the GRA will also sign an MOU with the Forensic Science Laboratory and has already signed one with the Financial Intelligence Unit. Moreover, as announced in my budget speech, I am bringing amendments to the GRA Act to strengthen the powers of the relevant authorities for a more effective control on money laundering and illegal betting.
Madam Speaker, may I know the date on which apparently the Prime Minister's office requested the commissioners to send a copy of the confidential interim report?
7th of June 2017.
Madam Speaker, would the Prime Minister table a copy of the request that has been sent?
Can table it.
You signed it.
And it is signed by Mrs. S.D. Gajada Naubat for Secretary to Cabinet and Head of Civil Service.
Now you are in compliance.
Madam, no,
Order, please. Honorable Ropero, please. Honorable Abbas Mohamed. Honorable Rupan, please. Honorable Rupan, please. Allow the leader of the opposition. There is a serious matter to be debated. Yes, Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
I know that it has taken 3 weeks, but still. I asked the Honorable Prime Minister whether this report, which seems to have been gone missing not once, but twice. I'm sure he's aware it's gone missing twice. Whether he has made a police inquiry into this matter to see why this mysterious report has disappeared twice from the hands of government.
Well, I do not know how come it has gone missing twice. I am not privileged to that kind of information. You were in government before together with the former Prime Minister. No, I'm just saying, probably you know better at that time. But, Madam Speaker, I have just answered that I have requested my office to try to trace this interim report. It was nowhere to be found, and that is the reason why when I replied to a question that was asked in this House, I stated that I will ask my office to write to the commissioners so that we can get a copy of that interim report. And, well, we will be awaiting for them to communicate to us a copy of that report.
And Master Anne, would the Prime Minister be surprised to know that commissioners have not received any requests from his office? And I'll show later that I am in contact with the commissioners.
Well, I am not. I am not. This is the very boat. This is the very boat MSM and Labour Party which crashed on the reef at the last general election. To bateau écrasé with you, le traître.
Order. Can we have some order in the house? Can we have some order, please? Honorable Jagru, please. I am calling. Now, Honorable Béranger, I'm trying to calm down the house. Why are you getting excited? I have called everybody to order. But you're looking there. Right? You don't look at me and then you make remarks. Please, Honorable Leader of Opposition, please proceed.
Madam Speaker, I will quote from a correspondence from Mr. Ben Gunn. And in case you want to put Mr. Gunn's credentials in doubt, Mr. Gunn was a former Chief Constable in the UK. That is equivalent to a Commissioner of Police. And I will quote from the correspondence he sent to one Mr. Bikari. I think it's well known in the circles. And this is what it says, Madam Speaker, and this is what is shocking. The handling of the highly sensitive interim report is also shrouded in mystery, in spite of a copy being handed personally to you. This is to Mr. Bikari in March 2015. This is why I asked the Honourable Prime Minister why he was not aware of this. I don't see Mr. Bikari today. What a surprise. He's in New York. Coincidence. But why he has not instituted a police inquiry and why he will not tell us why he will not do so now and take disciplinary action which is obviously required.
The Leader of the Opposition is asking me to say why I have not acted after he's mentioned this letter. I'm not aware of this letter. I don't have this letter. You give me a copy of that letter and then I will try to find out what has happened to this supposed interim report.
Speaker, I will table a copy of that letter. I will also, Madam Speaker, not do so usually, but I will table a copy of the interim report, which has been covered up by the government. And I will tell you, Madam Speaker, in case people think I got it when I was in government, because, surprise, surprise, I have an email of this morning from one same Mr. Ben Gunn. And it says here, and it authenticates, as you request, the document that you wanted. It's not such a long document. People can read it. And I would not have done so usually. But I am fed up, Madam Speaker, of this cover-up. Now, I would like the Honourable Prime Minister, now that he must be delighted, he has been looking for it for 2 years. Now that I give it to him, he will tell us what he wants to do with this report. He wants to throw it in the bin. It'll be difficult to hide it again. So what does he want to do with it?
In the bin. Throw it. You're talking for yourself. Now we know where the copy is. Now we know who has taken that interim report. It's good that you are giving it back. It's good. Of course.
Please, come down and decide. Please, come down. Yes. Yes, Honourable Jagru, please.
It would be, Madam Speaker, it would be interesting to know since when the Honourable Leader of the Opposition has this copy, because he could have he could have tabled it, or he could have sent it much earlier, so that we could have inquired about the contents.
Order, please. We can't hear what the reply is. I don't know whether the leader of the opposition has been able to listen to the reply of the Honourable Prime Minister. There's too much time. Please, order.
Speaker, the email is dated Tuesday, June 13th. And it says, I have read the document entitled Commissions, and I hereby, what does it say? Can state that it's a true copy of the interim report. So you have it here, Madam Speaker. Anyway, you want to take it? There is Facebook, there's everything, so everything will come out. Don't worry about it. Now, Madam Speaker, the Honourable previous Prime Minister stated in, perhaps, let's say that this current Prime Minister, let's assume he doesn't know about this. He hasn't phoned Mr. Bikari to ask him. Let's assume. But the previous Prime Minister, on 8th of September 2013, what did he say? I have not seen any interim report. And this is, I hope you don't want me to certify a Hansard. This is what the Honourable Prime Minister said. This is merely, this is why I want the Honourable Prime Minister to tell us what sort of inquiry he's going to have with the cover-up of the century here that we have here in front of us.
There is absolutely no cover-up, Madam Speaker. I have replied. When I looked for the report at my office, there was no report. It was there. Supposedly now... supposedly now they have...
Don't make provocative remarks. Don't make provocative remarks. I'm warning you. Yes.
We now know who supposedly has the report. Well, it has been tabled. I don't know if it has been tabled together with the email. I will be looking into that document.
I wouldn't put my integrity in doubt if I were you, Honourable Prime Minister. I wouldn't do that. You will cross something that you will not come out well. Madam Speaker, this obviously cost millions. I will, but don't go along that line. Don't question my integrity. I won't do that. It wouldn't be right of you, and I will then react. Now, Madam Speaker, in relation to the implementation now, not of the interim report, because we never found it apparently. It had gone missing for 2.5 years or more. What about the implementation of the final report, which is here? And that famous report, which has been paid for by taxpayers' funds, on the implementation thereof. Now, I must tell you, Madam Speaker, that the commissioners are wild with the government of Mauritius for non-implementation of their report, which they say vast amounts of the recommendations. There were 23 in the final report, and another 10 in this report, which bears the arms of the government of Mauritius, by the way. And they were wild, Madam Speaker. Why, can I ask the Honourable Prime Minister, why so many of these recommendations, including the one on ICAC, that the ICAC should be given stronger, wider powers? What was wrong with implementing these recommendations of the commissioners?
Madam Speaker, I have said that when recommendations are made, the GRA has looked into all these recommendations. Some have been acted upon. I have stated that a division has been set up with regard to the horse racing. A number of other measures have been taken at the police des Jeux, at the level of the MRA, and I have also proposed amendments in the budget. I said I am coming with amendments to the law, and there are other proposed recommendations that are being looked at with regard to amending the Prevention of Corruption Act. I said that there is a committee. It is not only looking at that aspect of the amendment, they are looking also at other amendments with regard to prevention of corruption, so that all of them taken together will eventually come before this House for amendments.
And for the sake of completeness, I will also table a copy of the report entitled Report on the Implementation of Recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry on Horse Racing in Mauritius. I must now ask the Honourable Prime Minister, one of the main recommendations of the Commission was to get rid of political control. What they say is, and I agree with them, what they say is a political control on the GRA in Mauritius, and to have a separate division of independent people, also staffed by overseas experts who would come for some time to help us get rid of corruption, money laundering, and race rigging that is occurring in Mauritius apparently on a daily basis.
Well, again, I say, whatever recommendations have been made are being considered. I have just replied that some of them have already been put in practice. Others are taking some time before government and the relevant authority will act upon them.
Speaker, the Honourable Prime Minister, also Minister of Finance, the report says that apparently there is 800 million rupees of lost revenue annually to the government by failure to implement appropriate control measures. So this is obviously something that is very important. Now there's one document which is missing, which I do not have. Do not have that one. The Strategic Roadmap 2016-18. Would the Prime Minister, the GRA, you are not aware of that one, the GRA Strategic Roadmap 2016-18, which is supposed to work and supposed to show that they are going to put some of these things into practice, would the Prime Minister be kind enough now to table, so we have a complete set, to table the Strategic Roadmap?
Well, I will look into it, and then I will take a decision with regard to the request of the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Honourable Bhagwan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. One of the main recommendations, as stated by the Leader of the Opposition and pointed out by the Prime Minister, the reorganization of the GRA. We have asked several parliamentary questions, even for the previous Prime Minister. One of the main problems is political interference. So, is the Prime Minister aware that his senior advisor, Mr. Prakas Mantura, and the senior advisor, Mr. Dave Bikari, who is also a member of the GRA, is meddling with the day-to-day operation of the MTC and also of the GRA to enable a dark network headed by Mr. Michel Lissim, owner of SMS Parias, a supporter of your party, MSM, to have the upper hand in the activity of horse racing in Mauritius. This is a mafia which is being tolerated by you, the
Let me remind you, who gave the license?
Question, please. Honourable Bhagwan, please. Order. Order, Honourable Bhagwan, please. You've asked your question. Yes.
Questions being made.
Yes.
There's no. What question are you asking about? Who gave the license to pull for fuel?
You have to order your member, the honourable member. Please, Honourable Prime Minister. Yes, Honourable Prime Minister. Honourable Bhagwan, please.
The honourable member should know who gave the license to Paul Foukyun when his leader was Minister of Finance. You were Minister of Finance and you gave license to Paul Foukyun at that time, but mafia, and that is where they were being financed. Tu me finances là, mafia.
Please, order. Yes, Honourable Amos.
Thank you, Madam. I'd like to know, regarding this famous report, whether there has been any cost related to the preparation of, and if yes, how much? Cost.
Cost of the report. If he répond. The cost of the report, Madam Speaker, amounts to, in pounds sterling, 123,636 pounds sterling. So that translates to 6,231,600 rupees. So the 2 million must have gone somewhere, maybe. Let's ask the Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, I'd like to ask the Honourable Prime Minister whether, as recommended in the report, we are now going, the government envisages to give a sports betting license to the MTC, because the whole question of control of the races is also a question of funding. And the control of funding also relates to contributions from various players. And the sports betting license to the MTC would greatly enhance the income in the whole sector. Am I making myself clear? The report, the final report, which you have a copy of, mentions the fact that they should give, you are requested or recommended to give a sports betting license to the MTC. Are you going to do so?
What the Honourable Leader of the Opposition failed to say also is when he talks, I mean not him, this side talks about mafia, but the mafia at the level of the MTC. Are you aware about this mafia? Why no word has been said about how we are going to dismantle this mafia? The connection between drug trafficking and money laundering and illegal betting. And Madam Speaker, I can say that this government and me as Prime Minister, nous sommes en train de mener une bataille sans pitié contre ces trafiquants de la drogue, ce blanchiment d'argent. Ça c'est résultat sur résultat. Nous savons.
Enough order, please.
Le peuple, Madame la Présidente, le peuple est en train de voir nos actions.
Honorable Jagru, this is the last time I'm warning you. And also, please calm down.
Le peuple est en train de témoigner de nos actions qui mènent à des résultats et à des saisies.
Yes. Honorable Balmoudi, I've called you 3 times. This is the final warning. Yes.
Madame la Présidente, à des saisies records. Jamais il y a eu autant de saisies de drogue. Et ces mafias ont été soutirées par l'ancien régime travailliste pendant des années et des années. Ils ont accumulé des richesses, des millions et des millions de roupies. Et nous sommes là pour mettre de l'ordre et nous allons nettoyer ce pays.
Let's just see how the words translate. Let's just see how the words translate into action. We have an interim report that has disappeared twice. Once in the hands of a senior advisor. We have a final report of which there are 23 recommendations. Only 1 or 2 have been put into practice. And we have a third one, the implementation report, which has 13 recommendations. And not one has been put into practice, Madam Speaker. I would ask the Honourable Prime Minister, given the obvious interest of the House in this matter, given all the claims he's making, of the words he's saying, but no action as far as racing is concerned, and that can be proven, will he not have a select committee of the House to look into the handling of these very serious matters which I have raised this morning, this afternoon?
Yes, Madam Speaker, the population of Mauritius is seeing the actions we are taking and the results that is being concretely achieved. There is no need for a select committee on this issue. Government, I have said, have taken a number of measures and will be taking other measures in the future.
Okay, time is over. The table has been advised that PQB 409, addressed to the Honourable Prime Minister, has been withdrawn. Honourable Shakil Mohammed.
B402, Madam.
Are you raising a point of order? Yes.
Point of order, Madam Speaker. I'm raising a point which pertains to the credibility of our official Hansard and which is of national importance. The House would recall that on the 4th April of 2017, I asked a PQ on Agaliga Island, PQ number B114, and which was addressed to Honourable Minister, Mr. Jagru. And in this PQ, I asked a first supplementary question, whereby I asked that the memorandum that was signed in 2015 and the detailed report project be made available. And which I asked for the Honourable Minister say whether these documents can be placed in the National Library of the Assembly. And the Honourable Minister, Minister Jagru, he stated to the House, I quote, I will do needful. He stated in Hansard, and I will do needful. I will do the needful. And to my great astonishment, today, when I consulted Hansard, that is this morning, the sentence that the Honourable Minister stated to the House, which was on the first copy of the Hansard, the sentence that I will do the needful has simply been erased, has simply been deleted. This, Madam Speaker, tantamount to falsification of Hansard, tampering of Hansard, which is at the heart of our Parliament.
Please,
so, Madam Speaker, please.
Yes.
So, I am tabling copies of both reply where the sentence appears and the second one where the sentence has simply been erased. So, Madam Speaker, I am kindly requesting you, as Speaker in your office, to make an inquiry so that we can establish who has instructed that this sentence be removed, and also to re-establish this sentence in our Hansard. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Member, for drawing my attention to this. In fact, this is a very serious matter, and I will have to carry out an inquiry to see who is responsible for what. And I will come back to this House and inform the House of what is the outcome of that inquiry. Thank you.